thank you everybody for joining us. We were just waiting for the last few people to log on to the webinar. For any of you that I haven't met in person, I'm Megan Twentyman, the brand manager here at Soft Solutions for WatchGuard. And the purpose of today's webinar is to give you an update on everything that's happening. There's a lot of news in WatchGuard world. So I'm going to hand over to Kenny, who's our technical specialist, and he's actually going to introduce you to a new team member that we've got joining us as well. And then Kenny will start the presentation. I'll jump back in a little bit later down the track, and then we'll have a Q&A section at the end. You can pop any questions as we go along in the chat, and we will try and answer all of your questions when we get to the end of the session. So we hope you enjoy the session, get some information from it, and I will hand over to Kenny.
Thanks so much for that, Megan, and good morning to everyone. Hope you are all, for those all in Auckland, hope you've ready for level 3. And for those in the rest of the country, I hope you've enjoyed your level 2. So as Megan has alluded to, and for those who have seen that we've got a new face as well as a new name on the slide there, just wanted to introduce everyone to Jordan, who's recently joined our team and is now joined me as one of the technical specialists for the WatchGuard brand. Jordan, do you want to just say a couple of words to the people?
Hey everyone, I'm Jordan. Thank you for coming. It's a pleasure to work with everyone, and I'm very happy to be here this time, and I'm looking forward to kind of supporting the WatchGuard. Cool. Pass it back to you, Kenny.
Oh, thank you for that, Jordan. So now let's get started with learning about what's new for this past quarter from WatchGuard. So bit of breaking news actually is that we've got some new fireboxes on the way. So some new M series. So these are the rack mount ones, as opposed to the T series, the tabletop ones. So we have the M290, M390, M590, and M690. These are scheduled to be released early October on the 5th. And the details are actually quite light for these new fireboxes. There are more details actually going to be announced in one of the product update webinars that WatchGuard are hosting, which is in a couple of days' time. So this is actually a sneak peek for what's coming in terms of the new M series fireboxes. What we can tell you though is that they are available on subscription, MSSP, as well as outright purchase. And these are actually going to be the replacements for the M270, M370, M470, M570, and M670. So just as a reminder to everyone what those fireboxes look like, I've just put up a quick table of some of the specs on those M series fireboxes. So you can see these are the ones that the 270 and 370, they're the ones that cater more towards the smaller enterprises, while the 470, 570, 670 will be for the larger ones. You can judging by how many VPN tunnels you've got supported on these firewalls, you're looking about say 50 odd. So that would be like a small office, and the 670 caters all the way up to 750, 800 staff logging into the VPN at the same time. So obviously that's going to be a massive, a massive site. One thing that they did emphasize about these new M series replacements is that they're putting a lot of emphasis in better speed in regards to content inspection. But again, we'll need to wait until the webinar in a couple of days' time to actually find out the full details on it. What was announced though was that there's actually network expansion bays for all the models. So previously it was only available in some of the higher end ones, the 670s, where you can add on an additional, the copper 1 gig or the fiber 1 gig. But now with these new M series, all of them have that ability. They have new network expansion modules now that are going to be lower cost than the old ones, and they're actually only going to be compatible with these new M series. So they won't actually fit for the old firebox, and the modules for the old fireboxes won't actually fit for these new ones as well. So that's just something to be wary of. And another nice little addition is that PoE is actually available now for the new 590 and 690. Some of you may have noticed that there's actually no 490. So WatchGuard feel that they've actually covered the entire spectrum with these new models here. So that one's actually going to be dropped. So for those who are not aware on where to actually sign up for this product update webinar, you can find it in the Learning Center, which is available on there's a link to it on the top under training when you log into your partner portal. So remember, that's the partner portal, not the support center. So remember, the support center is the technical side of things, or partner portal is probably more sales and training side of things. So up the top, you've got training, underneath Learning Center. Once you've signed into the Learning Center, you'll see there's a product updates tab. You can say there's a headline up there. So just click on that and you can add it to your courses. So then every month you can just go into here and you can watch the recordings for those webinars. So just a reminder again, the webinars about the new Fireboxes will be on the 23rd US time. So that's probably 24th for us when we'll see a recording for that. So just a couple more updates on the Firebox side of things. So the T55W as well as the T70, so the W meaning that's the one with the wireless built in, that's announced to be end of sale on the 30th of September. So the replacements have come out, which is the T40 as well as the T80. So just remember, the end of sale doesn't mean it's going to be end of life yet. The end of life date for these is actually in 2025. So if you have any of the Fireboxes you see on the screen there out at your customer site, don't need to fear. You don't need to rush them into an upgrade, but the upgrade path is available to a T40 or T80. But just letting you know, you won't be able to purchase these anymore from the 30th of September. Another, I guess, hotly requested addition is the failover module, the LTE module. So this is now available for the T80. So that's the largest tabletop box in the Firebox range. So this adds the ability for, when the internet goes down, so when your fiber goes down, you can switch over to LTE or 4G to keep connectivity alive. So obviously minimize the risk of outages, and it's a nice little small module, just fits into the back of it, and you've got external antennas to allow, so you can customize how, where you want to place it, and improve the range, improve the connectivity basically when you do switch over to 4G. Another new addition to Endpoint that was quite recent is user inheritance. So what this means is that your techs from the MSP level, if you're managing your customer accounts, if the techs need to log into any of the customer accounts that have Endpoint MFA enabled, you don't need to use up a separate license or set them up again. Basically, what you can do is export the techs, I guess the MFA settings, you could say, onto the customer's instance. So then the techs themselves, they can log into, so anything that's protected by Endpoint MFA, the techs can log into using their own Endpoint tokens or the app. This means you don't need to actually assign a new license for your techs for your customers. So it saves costs on that, and just makes it easier because they don't need to bypass MFA. Here's a nice little diagram that sort of explains how it works. So usually you'd have your tech team, if they needed to log into any of these managed accounts, and these are protected by MFA, they would need their own MFA licenses, Endpoint licenses. So obviously that's going to add additional costs because you have one unique one for each instance. But now you can just export those settings, and then that tech team there, your techs, they can just log into any of the other instances as they would with the normal Endpoint. So whether it's a QR code, push, one-time password, it all works, and they can just get in and do what they need to do. Finally, on the endpoint side of things, so for those who weren't aware, WatchGuard, they did a endpoint security webinar recently. It was actually a 4-part series that took you through everything from what's special about WatchGuard endpoint security / Panda, all the way to how to sell, how to position WatchGuard EPP, EDR, EPDR against the competitors. So, you know, names such as Sophos and all that, how you can actually, how it stacks up and how you can easily, you know, sell and basically explain to your customers the benefits. So they went through everything, including you know, all the things unique to WatchGuard Endpoint Security / Panda. So those being the Zero Trust application service, as well as threat hunting and the investigation services. You know, so that SOC team that is dedicated to all the Panda stuff that you get when you deploy Panda or endpoint security. You know, they explain all the ins and outs of it, and then explain it in a really nice and easy to understand way. So then when you go ahead and pitch WatchGuard Security or Panda to your customers, you know how to explain it to them so they can see the benefits as well of switching from, I don't know, ESET or whatever to the WatchGuard product. So if for those who did register but didn't attend, you should have received the PowerPoints as well as the links to the recordings for you by email. But for those who missed this or didn't get a chance to register, just reach out to us at watchguard@softsoul.co.nz, and then we'll be happy to pass through those slides and those links. So just remember, it is a 4-part series, about an hour each for each recording, but there's definitely a lot of good information in there, and that they're actually broken up into, you know, the name for each session clearly tells you what it is. So if there was something specific you wanted to know about, for example, WatchGuard EDR, you can just watch the EDR webinar to you know, you don't need to watch the whole thing, because it is quite a lot of time to commit to it, but I'd probably highly recommend it if you can. Just another update on the endpoint side. So with Passport, so just a reminder for those who got Passport or the Passport NFR. So that's the one that comes with DNS Go, DNS Watch Go, Endpoint, as well as endpoint security. So yeah, endpoint security. So now with the Passport, when you go activate it, it actually gives you an option whether you want to activate WatchGuard EPDR or Panda 8360. So just a reminder, they're actually both using more or less the same technology, same engine, but WatchGuard EPDR is obviously managed within the WatchGuard Cloud, while Panda is still managed within the Panda Ether portal. So for those wondering why you would, you know, if everything's going to be migrated into WatchGuard Cloud eventually, why would I even go for Panda? So with Panda, if you were interested in any of the add-on modules, such as patch management, the SIEM feeder, or the advanced reporting tool, that's still only available within the Panda Ether side of things, which means if you wanted to deploy those add-ons, you'd have to stick with the Panda platform for now. I know WatchGuard, they are working on a migration path to move everything eventually over to WatchGuard Cloud, but you know, good things take time, right? So we just need to wait for that to happen. So for the meantime, that's what the Panda Ether portal is there for. So for those who've just recently got the Passport NFRs but haven't activated yet, just giving you a heads up that you have that choice when you go to activate it. And then just some upcoming events. So besides that product webinar that I mentioned about the new Firebox series, the M series, so just reminded that's the 23rd or /24th for us. WatchGuard are also hosting a instructor-led technical training around the Endpoint and MFA product suite. So they call it Security's Essential Primer. So what this is it lets you, they get you ready. So for those who are wanting to take the technical exam for MFA or for Endpoint, they basically help you through all the material for that. So again, it covers EPDR, Endpoint, and DNS Watch Go. And that's running from on the 7th of October. So because they cover multiple regions with these classes, so you know, you've got Australia, Southeast Asia, etc. They are running at a slightly awkward time of 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. So for those that want to sign up, you know, probably get your lunch, have your lunch early before you start that one. And then finally, they are running, WatchGuard are running a tech masterclass webinar about Wi-Fi, so WatchGuard Wi-Fi. So those who don't know, WatchGuard, they do the only secure wireless access points out there. This webinar is on the 28th. It's running from between 4 to 5, so it's a good way to wind down your day. And it teaches you everything about, how you can use Wi-Fi access points to build a trusted wireless activity, how you can counteract, protect yourself against all the wireless threats out there, because, wireless is great, but we all know it's not the most secure thing out there. It also gives you a glimpse into managing Wi-Fi in WatchGuard Cloud. So at the moment, WatchGuard Cloud Wi-Fi is actually managed in a separate portal. Hasn't been moved into WatchGuard Cloud yet, so they're probably going to give you a sneak peek on how that's going to work in the future as well. So if you're interested in WatchGuard Wi-Fi in any way, even a little bit interested, I would highly recommend you sign up for this. Yeah, and if you wanted a link to any of these upcoming events, just reach out to us again, watchguard@softsoul.co.nz, and we'll pass you the registration links for it. Cool. And finally, I'm just going to pass it back to Megan now, who's going to give a reminder on the different ways you can purchase WatchGuard.
Great, thanks, Kenny. And just on those links, they are also in our weekly newsletter. So if you're not signed up to receive our weekly newsletter, do let us know so we can get you signed up. So WatchGuard, I think, is one of the vendors that has the most flexible purchasing options available to you. So there's kind of two distinct pathways. One is an outright purchase, and that is across all of the products within the WatchGuard portfolio. And normally there's a 1 or 3 year fixed term for the software security package that goes with the technology. So that's your outright purchase. Generally used when the customer's going to own the technology, those types of things. Then WatchGuard has what's called FlexPay, and there's two pathways within the FlexPay environment. One is the subscription, which we were excited to launch earlier this year. Subscription is $0 upfront dollars. And you get started straight away, and that's across the Fireboxes and Endpoint and the Endpoint solutions. More things will be added as everything moves together in the WatchGuard Cloud, but at the moment there is limitations on what you can purchase via subscription. So for the Fireboxes, you pay nothing up front. We ship you a Firebox with your selected security package, and then it's a monthly recurring charge for your security, but it's very flexible. So the whole purpose of it is to be agile and flexible. With the FlexPay MSSP, this is a smaller upfront cost for your Fireboxes, and then a monthly cost for your security that is via a points-based system. So each Firebox is worth a certain amount of points with the security package that you've selected. So there's kind of 3 different options, depending on your client's requirements, and your requirements for managing will depend on what is the right solution for you. Outright purchase and MSSP, any WatchGuard partner can use those. With subscription, we do have a contract that you have to sign because we are taking on the liability for your ongoing costs around that. So if you're interested in that, do reach out and we can help you with that. So really flexible, agile, and I'd say WatchGuard were one of the first hardware vendors to actually launch the subscription model. They have had the MSSP for quite some time now, and it is very popular with partners as well. We have price lists available for both options. Can get really confusing about what's best for your customer, so we're here to help you with those conversations. So do reach out if you need any advice or guidance. And as I said, we'll see more things zipping into MSSP and subscription as WatchGuard work on all that migration to the WatchGuard Cloud, which is exciting stuff. And I think that brings us to the end and to the Q&A. So we'll get Kenny to pop his camera back on. And if anybody's got any questions, feel free to throw those in the chat and we can answer those for you now. As I said at the beginning, the purpose of this webinar was to give you a really good overview of what's happening, and you can see there's a lot of work going on in the background with WatchGuard as they migrate across to the WatchGuard Cloud from these various different portals that their technology has been in, and they cover a really good breadth of the security portfolio and a trusted, well-known brand. So I'll just have a quick check and see if we've got any questions coming in. Okay, let me just make this a little bit bigger because I can't actually see it. panel out. All right. So question number 1, can you use WatchGuard MFA standalone, or do you have to use it with the WatchGuard firewalls? Kenny, do you want to grab that one?
You can use it standalone. You don't have to use it with WatchGuard firewalls. There's a whole bunch of integration guides on how to integrate it with, I don't know, there's a whole bunch of, there's a lot of things you can integrate WatchGuard Endpoint with. So it's not just, it's unique, it's not unique just, so with any of the WatchGuard products, you're not forced into using WatchGuard MFA or with WatchGuard Wi-Fi and WatchGuard firewalls. You can mix and match vendors. So MFA, if you can mix it with a Fortinet firewall, for example, or even with like the Wi-Fi side of things, you can mix and match with a Ruckus or something like that. So which I guess I'll go into more details in that tech masterclass on how you can add additional Wi-Fi access point to an existing Wi-Fi infrastructure to boost up the security. But I guess end of the story, end of the day, you're not forced to, you don't have to have everything WatchGuard. You can mix and match, and WatchGuard will easily play well with any other vendors' technologies.
Absolutely, and one trend we're starting to see around MFA as well is that even cyber insurance is requiring you to have MFA. So definitely a hot topic that our account managers are seeing out there. Just a couple of points just on the pricing. When I was talking about the 2 flex pay options, just so that you know, there are more products available in MSSP than in subscriptions so far. It's just because of the migration. So you can't get your secure Wi-Fi through MSSP yet, but eventually it will become available as that migration continues. And you'll see that there's new Wi-Fi access points coming out very soon, which will be the ones coming into the WatchGuard Cloud. So we're really excited about those upcoming webinars to see the first sneak peek at these changes and migrations. And we'll keep you updated. Please do check our newsletters. There is always information there around WatchGuard. And they are, I would say, one of the most active vendors in education around their partners. Another key point I just wanted to touch on before we close, because it looks like that's the end of the questions that I've got there so far, is don't forget that once you're a WatchGuard registered partner, you can complete your sales certifications and your technical certifications so that you can move up to being a WatchGuard 1 Silver or Gold partner. WatchGuard very much are focused on education and knowledge. There's actually no sales targets that go with those higher levels. They're asking for your commitment in doing the sales training, which is fantastic, and also having staff complete those technical certifications. So really, really encourage customers to do that. There is an advantage to you. So you are rewarded for becoming a WatchGuard 1 Silver or Gold partner with additional margins. There's also deal registration opportunities and all sorts of things that we can help out with there. So I do encourage you to try and get your status up to at least a WatchGuard 1 Silver partner status. So I don't think there's any other questions. Did you have any final comments there, Kenny?
No, I think you've covered everything.
I think we've covered everything. So there's nothing left to do but say thank you all very much for joining us today. We really appreciate your attendance and hope you got some useful information. Don't hesitate to reach out to us on watchguard@softsoul.co.nz if we can assist with anything. And yeah, keep doing what you're doing with your WatchGuard solutions and take advantage of all those upcoming trainings. Thanks everybody and have a great day.